Hello, Satisfactory people. It's Battlesburg again, and I wanted to make this video to show you my seed base that I will use for new multiplayer games or in the future when I feel like starting over to trying out a new idea. And so I just built a base with some basic stuff in it. So what you can see right here out in front of us is my little biomass factory where you can put in leaves in that container, wood in that container. They get processed into biomass, and then through splitters and mergers, some of it goes into that constructor to make the fuel logs, and then some of it just comes out to here as biomass as such. Then you have, your basic base stuff. There's the awesome shop, a workshop, a MAM. Here's my hub. And over here you have the biomass generators, which are all currently in standby because I have upgraded to coal, which was the number one reason I did this to start with, because I really don't like having to mess with these biomass generators. And if you're a new player who has stumbled upon my newbie videos, please don't be dismayed or put off by this game, because I don't like these biomass generators. I've just built so many factories that these first few steps really get under my skin. And the game makers added an option to start off with a slightly more advanced base, but they don't let you skip this part. I'm not sure if they should. I guess I have mixed feelings about that. Anyways, I have a seed base now, so it doesn't matter. So here is a miner Mark 1 on a pure node of limestone, running over to these constructors to make concrete. That is the most concrete I can make with that node and that miner, and so that's how that's set up. Another miner Mark 1 feeding some smelters, 4 of them, because that's as many as you can feed with that miner on that node, making copper ingots being fed through this belt system. Copper ingots being split off to this row of constructors. Now, to be honest, I forgot I was going to have to make these copper sheets. So I just decided to add constructors doing that at the tail end of this row, and it works out fine because the belt speed can keep up with that. And so you see copper sheets coming in along the top there, and the wire coming in along the bottom, and for the purposes of this seed base, it actually works fairly well. And as you can see, the ingots keep going, and the wire and the sheets are added to this contraption, which, as you can see in the distance, is getting progressively larger. The wire is being fed down to these constructors to make cable. Cable's being fed into the contraption. Now here is the input source for iron. There's a pure node over there with a miner Mark 1 on it, feeding 4 smelters. Again, the max you can feed with that much iron. Ingots being fed into a belt system, being fed into a contraption, split off, sent down to constructors, and those are making plates, which are fed back into the contraption. There's another split of the ingots, sent down to constructors to make rods, which are being fed back into the contraption. There's a split on the rod belt, being sent down this way to make screws. And in this build, I've not yet unlocked the blueprint to make screws directly from ingots. And to be honest, with this setup, this works fine too. I mean, obviously, until you find that alternate blueprint, this is what you have to do. But with this sort of contraption I've built, it seems to work out almost as well, in my opinion. And I have a workshop and a crafting station here because I have spent a lot of time right here hand fabricating the reinforced iron sheets. Because until you get some more upgrades and better belts, it's really hard to feed these assemblers. This guy is making, well, I'm using an alternate blueprint, but he's making the reinforced iron sheets. Not doing a great job at it, but plugging away at it. And they are being fed into the contraption. That guy's making rotors. being fed into the contraption. And here you see where my contraption kind of terminates. There's a bunch of splitters with belt elevators being fed into mergers on another belt. Now these belts in here I deleted, so I would stop throwing away that stuff because I'm still using it. And that's iron ingots, plates, rods, and screws. And I'll reconnect them later. Anyways, they're all feeding into these mergers, into this belt, being fed into a recycler so I can get the coupons to get the awesome shop items that I consider essential for building a real factory. And in this video, I've already purchased the stuff that I consider critical, which is the wall power outlets and the platforms and the wall doors. And that would be these guys, these guys, and these guys. Now, I don't really care about these normal doors. The gates are what I like, because I like my bottom level of the wall to be gates so I can walk through it. And then the upper levels I use regular walls, and then that's where I stick my power outlets. There's other things in there I really like the glass floors. I just haven't gotten around to purchasing them yet, because this is just a little starter base. So here's my cold power. The water is coming from a lake over in that direction that I honestly just discovered a few days ago. I didn't know it was over there. And that water is feeding these coal fire plants. The coal mines are over here. I've got two plumbed in. You don't strictly speaking need to, but I really don't like to have my coal run short when it's feeding power plants. One of those miners is putting out 60 coals a minute. Each one of these is consuming 15, so it's providing plenty of coal, and these 4 power plants are providing more than enough power for this base currently. And that's basically it. That's the seed base. Now bear in mind, I have no intention of expanding this base. The only point of this base is to provide the basic building blocks for the actual factory that I want to build, wherever I end up deciding to build it, or in a multiplayer game, wherever me and my friends end up deciding to build it, and however we end up deciding to build it. But now, we don't have to trudge through the first few steps of the game. And more specifically, we don't have to mess with chopping down trees and feeding biomass generators. And so that's it. I hope you get some ideas from this, and good luck, and have fun.